everybody. You are coming to an amazing episode of Women In today. But before I tell you what we're doing, let me tell you what you're listening to. Women In is a podcast that celebrates women in all walks of life and the people in their lives who are lifting them up. You're going to hear from two extraordinary women in my life today and the great work they're doing to lift the women up around them. The reason I do this podcast is because I want to break down barriers for my kids' generation. It's equal parts about my guests and the places we came into each other's lives, whether it be the Kalamazoo Wings, Mindfulness Elevated, Tony Will Coaching, or they happen to be in my family and friends circle. And these women today fit in many categories. I would say every single category. And I can't wait for you to hear our conversation today. First off, I just want to say for today's episode of Women In, this is the first time I'm filming this in person, live.
That's exciting.
Not virtual. So let me introduce my guest. I'm so excited. Dr. Anna Marie Franks. Anna Marie's been on my podcast once already, and you're going to hear about how we ended up in this wonderful space of collaboration. It is the true definition of lifting women up. And then my other guest today is Caroline Martin. She is, oh gosh, where do I start with how fabulous she is? So Caroline's husband is Joel Martin. He and I worked together at the Kalamazoo Wings. That's how we met about a decade ago when Joel was still playing. So I'm going to let you ladies intro yourself a little bit, but Anna, I'll start with you. So let's talk about how we came into each other's lives initially.
Yes. So it was because I brought you on the Happy Whole You podcast. Mm-hmm. You were gracious to bring me on your podcast as well. And then we just got to talking and realized that we are cut from the same cloth. And I remember we were on a call and I just had like this thing that came. It was like, you need to do something. You need to do something. It's just, sometimes I have these intuitive moments and I just didn't even filter it. And I was like, I was just told we need to do something. Like we need to do something together and something big. And literally you're like, yeah. And that's what I love because it's, we have wonderful ideas. Mm-hmm. And then there's the women that have the wonderful ideas. And then there's the women that have the wonderful ideas and put the people in place. And then there's the women that have the wonderful ideas, put the people in place. And then they're like, let's go. And they get it done and take action. And you're one of those women. And I love connecting with women like you because it's fantastic. So, and that's why we're here today, because we're up to something pretty big.
Well, and we wouldn't be here without Caroline. I mean,
it's true. Who started it all? I will take the credit for connecting these two amazing women.
You did. So let's talk about that because you have this great circle of women over your whole life that you've surrounded yourself with. And one day you shot me an email and you said, so I don't want to steal your thunder, but how you were like, you need to talk to Anna.
Yeah. I was like, you've got to meet my friend. I'm like, you are cut from the same cloth. I just respect and love you both so much. So I'm like, the forces of you two combined would be electric, and it is. And so I feel really excited.
Yeah. So what is it, Caroline, when you see that, when you're like, you've known me for a long time, you and Anna went to college together. Yeah. We all of us went to Western Michigan University. Yes. But we went, you two. So tell the story about you two and you two first.
So I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
Our friend Leah, our Canadian friend, Leah, who we loved so much.
We were running track and cross country together at Western.
Leah and Anna were running track together. I do not run. I would ride my bicycle next to them.
Yes.
And I can't even remember how I met Leah. I think because I would go to we had a class together. Yeah. And then they had this little math tutor lab at the Western Michigan. So I would go in there and she'd help me with my math homework because math is never been my strong suit unless I'm counting money. But so anyways, through Leah running, I met Anna, and then that just transformed my life in a great way because I am not an athlete, but I somehow surround myself with athletes. I must something about your mindset or, just achieving everything. So anywho, I met Anna. The first time I met her, she had a tongue ring.
Oh gosh.
We were at a party.
Nobody knows this.
Like,
I love it. Well, I used to have my eyebrow pierced, y'all. So
I love it. Yeah. And I was like,
gosh,
I like her. Like just next level. I have a lot of energy and I don't often find people that match my energy or are elevated, like even more hyper than I am. and I found her and I was like, yes, you're my friend. And we instantly became friends. And that was 20 years ago. No, probably more. Actually,
more than 20 years
22 probably.
Because I was a little ahead of both of you at Western, but we didn't know each other back then. So,
No.
I mean, you came into my life a decade ago when Joel was still playing, and I came to the Kalamazoo Wings, and I don't remember the first time we met. I just feel like you've always been in my life. But
I don't remember.
But I just remember you having such a we call you hype girl.
Yes,
because
I am.
Are like the
number one hype girl.
She is. And
Yes.
so like, what is it about seeing, like, connecting people and like just seeing what Anna and I have and saying, these two women need to know each other. Like, what do you see? Because I don't think a lot of women see that at times, but you do. You see it.
I do. I think
I
think that I am a hype girl. Like, I can see people and their strengths, and I will be your number one, like,
connector,
encourager. Like, I love seeing my friends and family do what they do and like truly live out their dreams. And it's really beautiful to see people achieving their dreams and living their purpose and doing what they were born to do in life. So I will always support that. I am the friend that you will call if you need to be hyped up and supported, because that's like just what I do. I love that. And I have amazing friends that are doing awesome shit. So
I mean, you really could look at Anna and say, I knew you when. I mean, like and your success that you've had. And if you haven't listened to the episode with Anna, I highly encourage it. But in case you're listening to this and then you'll go back and listen to that. Anna, will you share what your journey has been since you met Caroline at Western? Because you live in California now.
Yes.
And so tell everyone what you've been doing the last 20 years since you moved out of Kalamazoo.
Oh,
well, let's say first, when we graduated from Western Michigan University, there were no teaching jobs in Michigan.
No.
So you really had no choice other than to go out of state.
What was your degree in?
My degree was in exercise science and education.
Okay.
So I went and I was looking at Florida, New York, or California to move to start teaching. I originally wanted to be a physical therapist, but then I was like, I worked at a hospital my senior year of high school. And then I realized, to me, it was really boring. So then I'm like, I could be a teacher and have the summers off. And my dad was always like, be a teacher. It's like the easiest job in America. For all you teachers out there, we know it's not. But anyways, I took the easier route. I always had wanted to be a doctor, but in the back of my mind, it was like, well, you're not smart enough. You don't have enough money to do that. Like, just go do the easy route. So I went the easy route, and
we packed up the Chevy Lumina.
Packed up the Lumina. We drove across country.
Yes.
But it was Caroline and my sister, and in the middle of the heat. And I had no idea. Like, I visited where I moved to in the desert in California in April. So it was like clear skies, mountains, cool air. And then we got there in July and it was like,
hot,
wow, this is
melting.
Hot. Yeah.
Like, your car was just
I should have Googled more information, but I went there.
Actually, back then?
They paid me the most money. So that's why I went. Because I was like, I'll go out there for 2 or 3 years.
Well,
then 2008 hit. And so then I was like, I might as well get my master's degree. And then I met my husband. And then I just ended up, your roots go deeper and deeper. And so then I've been there over 20 years.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and we're going to talk about like what the three of us are doing together here as we continue this conversation. But you were born and raised here, and then you're out in California and getting this amazing life experience, and now you're coming back, which I'm going to continue to tease that in a minute. But tell everyone what you do now, like what your work is and what you're passionate about.
Oh my gosh. So I'm really passionate about holistic health. I had to heal my own brain. I had some mental health issues, and I started to study Chinese medicine, holistic medicine, energy medicine, Ayurvedic medicine. And I ended up getting my doctor of naturopathy, my PhD in natural medicine. And over the last 7 years, I created a company called EmpowHER. So we have people from all walks of life that come into our wellness center, and we work on increasing their brain function, decreasing body inflammation, and building a strong foundation of health. Because when we do that, our brains can function so much better. And your brain is only 2% of your body, but it utilizes up to 20-25% of all the nutrients, oxygen. So what I was learning through my journey is my mental health issues that I had one, I thought I could solve them with medication, and that did not work for me. And so when I started to recognize these natural holistic ways and started to tweak a few things in my life, my mental health became so much better. And so I just wanted to share that with the world. And so, so I've just been working with people through our wellness center remotely on their overall foundations of health, wellness, and mindset. And it's the most rewarding job ever.
And you created a line of supplements, and you're an author.
Yes.
And your keynote speaker.
Yeah.
And so I just have so much respect for that, because as women, we have so many different identities, right? You're a mom, Caroline, you're a mom too. We're both, or all three of us are wives. Like we're just wearing multiple identities, and but still carving out what we want in this world. And I think that's so important. I mean, Caroline, as you carve out like what you're doing in this world, what are you passionate about?
Being around awesome people. Clearly, who I spend time with is very important to me, and who I allow my energy to like spread to. But it's taken me a long time to actually figure out what I'm passionate about. I've done a lot of things because I had to do it. I had to work. I had to be with my husband's job was traveling. I never knew really actually what I wanted to do. I just kind of followed him around for years after I graduated. Like, okay, let's go.
Well, it was hard to build roots somewhere because you knew you were going to up and leave.
What team he'd be playing for, where we'd be.
And just so everyone knows, and I know I introduced it a little bit earlier, but Joel Martin is a professional hockey player for 15, 20 years. And then he's been the head coach of the K-Wings for the last 3 seasons. He was the assistant coach for 4 seasons before that. So just if you hadn't fully understood who Google Joel, you'll know.
Yeah, you can see where he's played. We've been all over. So I just would always get jobs and work wherever we were. And then fast forward, having children and my husband always traveling, I had to just be on my kids' schedule. So I've been working in the schools for the past 8 years, and was applied and was starting my master's degree in teaching with the Kalamazoo Urban Teacher Resident Program, which I highly suggest anyone who wants to be a teacher to do. And then I realized, like, what am I doing? I really don't like kids anymore. I don't want to be in a school. I like to be the hype girl, the support to the teachers. I will toot around town and help you do anything you need. I will plan all the parties, but like, I don't want to deal with children. I want to like my own and enjoy them. And I'm so tired. So God bless the teachers. But so then my husband was blessed enough to get hired by this lady and a couple of other special people to be the head coach a couple of years ago. And I was like, you know what? Why am I doing this? I really don't want to be a teacher. And Joel was like, don't do it. And I was like, okay, thank you for that. Why am I doing this? So then I was like, what am I passionate about? Flowers. So then I stepped into Goldie Grows, and now I am a flower farmer, and it's like the perfect, I'm so proud of myself for finally like figuring it out. What do I want to do on a daily basis? What does it look like? What does my day look like? What does my season look like around the hockey season? Because that, my family comes first. Yeah. And so what can I do to fulfill myself while taking care of my family?
Yeah, because it's not just Joel, it's the boy. They have 2 sons, and they play hockey as well.
Yeah, they're both in travel hockey. So literally every weekend I'm in a hotel around
and an ice
the
rink.
Midwest in an ice rink.
And then when you're not at the ice rink, you're back at Wings Event Center.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Being the hype girl for
it's
the
great.
K-Wings.
Yeah, I'm the K-Wings hype girl.
So one of the things that the 3 of us have in common beyond all going to Western Michigan University, being born and raised here, is that we're all entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs. And I just think that is so, I don't know, inspiring, right? Because how old were you when you started your own business, if you don't mind me asking?
I feel like you were like
19. So
she's always been doing
personal
something.
Training,
different things.
I did that too.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah, I started.
Side note, do you remember? I was thinking about this the other day. Anna's journey has been like just a vast, like so wide of like different things, but you would actually teach step aerobics at the rec center.
Yes.
Western.
Step aerobics.
at the rec center.
kickboxing.
And so
I did too.
we would
Yes.
I'd always show up and do her.
Are we twins?
Oh my
aerobics.
gosh.
You are. That's why I'm like, you
Yes.
guys have to
I
meet.
did all that.
Yeah.
That's
So
so
I
funny.
started, I started teaching step aerobics when I was a senior in high school at the Wellness Center hospital where I grew up. Then I went to Western and started teaching there. And then I think it was around my sophomore year, I started the personal training program at Western.
Mm-hmm.
And I also on the side started a company, which I don't think I ever registered it, but I called it a Better Fit Training. And so I would
Go on the YouTube.
oh gosh, I would personal
Yes.
train, like I would go back for the summer and I would train old teachers of mine, or I'd write up nutrition plans for them.
But you made those
And-
videos.
And I made video. There was
Yes.
videos back in the day that I made. It's just, yeah. So it's
remember
been,
that.
and then even when I was teaching, I worked at a private gym, and then I actually stopped personal training right after I gave birth to my son is when I stopped doing that. And then being a new mom was very challenging for me, and got through that, and then decided, I'll get pregnant again. Cause you kind of forget the struggle and you're like, oh, they're so cute. And let's just do one more, And then I had my daughter, which was a whole experience. And then after I had my daughter, I started a little side business, and that side business afforded me to go to some personal growth conferences. And then I started reading more books on personal growth. And I really started to dive into that mindset thing, because I always was like, exercise as if it was going to solve all your problems. Then it was like, okay, the nutrition thing, very important after having kids, you got to change your nutrition. But then I still struggled with my mental health as well. So it was like, okay, I got to get this right. And so once I started working on my mindset and rewiring how my brain was functioning, things really started to come into play. And that was like kind of my journey to that. So I swear, like, I feel like both of my children healed an aspect of me that allowed me to step into the person I'm becoming. Yeah. And so that was really a great thing.
You've always had an entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah. I mean, I started investing in real estate in my 20s. I remember
That's why you two are so similar. You're just both like getting it done.
Yeah. It took me a while though to step into being an entrepreneur. My story was so different. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I had this career in banking, and then I ran the Chamber of Commerce here. Yeah. And then I'm like, I want less. And then I ended up but the story is
creating more.
Yeah. I ended up creating more. And then I stepped into the K-Wings a decade ago. And it was actually during the pandemic. So that was 2020. So I was 42 years old. And one of the things in my life that I was not comfortable with was my alcohol consumption. Like, I did not like my relationship with alcohol. So I decided to use that time when we were dark here at the K-Wings to work on me. And I stopped drinking. And then I was like, I want to help other people do this. And so I got a certification from This Naked Mind in that, which is a great book, by the way. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it, by Annie Grace. And I went through a 6-month certification, and then I was like, well, I'm going to launch my business. And so I was 42 years old. I quit drinking, and I'm like, I'm going to help other people. And so here we are 4.5 years later. And I'm like, but my governing belief in a lot of things is I want to have it all. So I've been doing both. Yeah. And then it expanded to Tony Will Coaching for professional development coaching too. And then I started the podcast, and then and I keep teasing it, but we're going to talk about what we're doing this spring together. But so I was 42 when I really had I'll just say it because it's my podcast, the balls to like step into that space, because I had a lot of fear around it. I was scared, and it's been one of the best things I've done, like truly. So, and how old were you when you started?
40. I turned 40 and I was like, damn it, I'm doing what I want to do. Like, I'm not getting any younger. Yeah. I'm not like, I can do this. And I made it my goal. Like 40. I went to the courthouse. I opened up my situation, and I haven't stopped yet. And that's built my little website.
Yeah, 40.
Just started planting seeds. Yeah.
And you left corporate America at 40 to do your.
Yeah. I left out of the school system because I went into administration, and at 40, I was actually having my wellness center. I call it on the side, but it wasn't. It was like I was all in. But I stayed because it was comfortable, because there was a paycheck, and because, I was making 6 figures. I had the check all the boxes. And then it was like that voice inside your head that's like, who do you think you are? Like, you should, like, you're a woman making this, doing this. Like, you should. And that was when I got that job, that was like my dream job. Mm-hmm. And I thought in my mind I would stay.
You should tell the people what your job was.
So
it's a big deal.
Yeah. So I created a wellness program for the largest high school district in the state of California for their staff. So we had a $54 million expenditure on healthcare. Mm-hmm. And so my job was to go in and how do we reduce behavioral health claims? So these are claims that, can be prevented. And also, some bigger companies, school districts, there's what's called self-insured, meaning anytime they go to the doctor, that gets billed back to the district, meaning taxpayers pay everything. So it's a huge cost. But anyways, I loved it. Changed people's lives. I mean, it was phenomenal opportunity. But towards the end, it was becoming more and more apparent, this inner calling, like to step away. And it was like, just because we're good at something doesn't mean we need to stay and keep doing it. And then I'll tell you, I actually realized after I stepped away, and because it was so hard, a part of me was like not wanting to step away because my ego was like, well, what if someone steps in and does a better job? Mm-hmm. Oh, then they're going to realize you were a fraud. That's, I don't know. It's just
that
like
inner narrator.
It is. Yeah, it is. And it's that imposter syndrome, which is crazy. And so I learned so much from one, trusting myself and being like, okay, you can do this. You got this. My husband supported me with it. I believe wholeheartedly in what I'm doing. And I just wish more women would really do what they're sent here to do. And it may not be leaving where you're at, but like stepping in and fully doing what's in your heart in the organization that you're in and not holding back. Cause I find that we do as women, we hold back quite a bit, where I actually was just talking to this lady, very fascinating. And she told me that they did a study and men could be 20% qualified or think they're 20% qualified for a job and they will apply for it.
Yeah.
Women, we sit here and we're like, okay, if I can't check every box, if I'm not 100%, we won't even apply for it. And so it's just, it keeps showing up in my life and looking back. And so it's like giving women the courage and the empowerment, because we need each other to do it, because it can be scary, Yeah. So, but yeah, at 40, it was like, I was like, you are doing this, because I just thought to myself, if you're 80, will you regret staying or will you regret stepping into your dream? And I would regret it. So it's like, you might as well give it a go.
Yeah, that's how I felt. Did you have some fear too, going into starting your own business?
Not really. I was like excited because I want to create my days in my calendar year, and I want to fill my days and my hours and my available time with what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I mean, not everybody has that luxury, but I had.
And you didn't put pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
And you called in your friends for support.
Oh my gosh.
With
I've had so much. I like I said, I surround myself with smart people.
Yeah.
My people showed up. They still daily. Like,
I think
it's incredible.
One thing I can take and learn from you about is you have this amazing ability to ask.
Well, I've learned it, but yeah, I do.
No, you do.
Well, I think because I help other people. So when I need help,
you just ask.
Like in this area, people were like stepping up. Like, I'm really good at this. I'll help you with this. And I was like, yes.
Yeah. Sometimes we feel like we have to do it all on our own, and we don't.
Oh my God, I'm the queen of that. And that is like, so when Anna said to me, I want to do something with you. And I'm like, well, I do have I have an idea. And then that one question like has brought all of this. So let's talk about what we're doing, because this conversation is all tied to what the three of us are working on. So it is the ultimate, like, just so you both know, you're helping me do something that I haven't, I don't think I'm so good at, which is collaborating. And I've been thinking about this for a long time, and I want to be better at that part of it. And so you
met the right people.
I met the right women, and I want to collaborate with women because I work in professional hockey, men's professional hockey. So to all those men out there, I love you. And I always say this, I've been married to 3 men. I love you all, but I want to surround myself with powerful women, empowered women. So let's talk about what we're doing March 7th and 8th. This is so this is so exciting.
Yeah,
so
it's really good.
So I'll kind of talk about the idea behind it, and then we'll just go. So March, we started at the Kalamazoo Wings 3 seasons ago, a game called Hockey for Her. And the idea behind that is I'm really passionate about diversity, equity, inclusion. Being a minority in this industry, I was like, it's challenging. And that's why I started Women in the Podcast. And because I was like, I want to tell stories of other, and I have men and women on the podcast to talk about, like, we all came from women. The word men is in women, like when you look at just the word. And so let's share this. Let's talk about how we are equals, how we are empowered. And I'm a big justice seeker. So I started Hockey for Her, the K-Wings did, and it was wildly successful. Like these little girls and women, and they're coming out to the games and we're selling it out. So this year we decided to rebrand it EmpowHER, with the her being in all caps. And my dream is always to host a conference in my hometown, our hometown, to lift women up. So that's kind of how this started. So what we're doing is hosting the first EmpowHER conference here in Kalamazoo on March 7th and 8th. So Anna, do you want to talk about like what we're doing at the conference? It's a 1-day, 1.5 days.
Yeah. Well, we have a meet and greet the Friday night before. Yep. So we'll have some mocktails and sign in and just really networking. So women that are coming from all around to just, have that conversation that Friday night. The next morning, we are going to have myself do a keynote. You're going to do a keynote. We also have this connection piece that is literally going to change every woman in that room for the rest of their life in such a powerful way. This connection piece, I've done it a couple times with things that I've done with groups of women. And every time there's like this energy, it's hard to explain what happens, but it is a beautiful thing. We're going to also include a breathworks class as well. And then just some other things. So we're looking at this as leadership, business. It's like mind, body, soul, because, we can't show up in business and in leadership if we are not okay inside.
Yes.
And so that I think is the biggest piece, is to give women that confidence, that vision, that power to step into who they are, and then making, those connections in the room, because we don't know until we know.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't. And one of the things, and this is for a young woman or any age woman, is what I
wish I would have gotten this. When I was in college, can you imagine if we had events like this when we were going to Western?
No, it would be amazing.
I
would have saved a lot of grief in my head.
Yeah.
I would honestly been a lot farther in life and feel a lot better about myself.
Yeah. So I want to mention that this is for any age, but I also want to mention too that when I'm coaching my clients, a lot of what I hear, especially from women in our age demographic, is it's hard to make friends as you get older. But this is a great way to surround yourself with like-minded people.
Yes.
Right. And really another thing I hope to see women come out of this beyond community and connection is like, what is it that you want to do? Like we just shared the 3 of our stories, like, and they're very different stories, but how we've ended up in the same place together at the same time doing this. So what are the ladies that are going to come to this want to do?
Yeah.
And how can we help them get there?
Yeah, I think that's like a huge piece, because a lot of times, like we said earlier, like we need each other. And I think oftentimes women don't take the time out to reflect and even ask themselves, like, what do I really want? Yeah. Like if I were to wake up tomorrow and all my problems went away, all my responsibilities, all my financial issues, all the responsibilities, what would I do in my day? And what I find is a lot of times women can't answer that.
Yeah.
Because our identity goes within our children, within our spouses, within what we do, that is fine. But it's like just taking that, opportunity to go deep and just get curious around, who am I? What is it that I do want in this life? What could be possible? And sometimes, like this all became possible because of one question. Yeah. This all became possible because of one connection. Yes, and so we never know when that one element comes into play that changes the trajectory of our life. 100%. So why not put ourselves in positions to be empowered by others that are doing things. So we have this whole vast opportunity of life to open up to us because we don't have that opportunity when we sit in our house and when we go to the same job day after day and we don't do different things. And so I think this is a good way for women to just step out, tip your toe in, and then, and then women that are
open to anything.
And then women that travel all over to go to these conferences, it's like right here in this state. And,
and I love Kalamazoo. And we all do.
Yes.
And so let's talk about the logistics more of this. So Anna talked about and by the way, in this conference, and we'll have more online on all this, but there's no breakout sessions. And because we talked
about it.
Yeah. We're like, no breakout, because we don't want you to have to choose.
Yes.
Like, do I go to this one or this one? So we're all going to be in the same space together throughout the day. So, and then Discover Kalamazoo is already on board with sponsoring this. Like, how cool is that?
Yeah.
That's how passionate they are about bringing women-centric events to this community. So that's a really big deal. Okay. So let's talk about the evening, because this is where you and I spend a lot of time in this arena. So we picked these dates on purpose because March 8th is our annual, what was Hockey for Her, and is now our EmpowHER game. So everyone that attends the conference, we're coming down to Wings Event Center, which is 10 minutes from the Radisson, and we're going to the game.
Yeah, so fun.
Yeah.
You can have a good time watching hockey because it's a good time.
Yeah, we're going to be in the Nest, which is a space here that within Wings Event Center. It's like a suite, and we're going to have cocktails, mocktails, food, and we're going to have that throughout the whole game. So all the women can continue to bond and make connections, and then enjoy hockey. So you can see the other half of how Caroline and I live on a daily basis. And so, and then after the game, we're going to go down on the ice, and we're going to take a picture together. And then everyone that attends the conference is going to we have lots of goodies for everyone that you'll find out more as we get all this pulled together. But we are giving away an EmpowHER hat, and it's a really cute bucket hat, ladies. Like one of those, what is it called? The fuzzy, like that are in right now. I don't know. The kids know. But, so it's an EmpowHER hat, and then we're just gonna, and that's gonna round out the day. So let me talk a little bit about the money part, because we are empowered women and we don't do this for free. Do we, ladies?
No. I'm stepping into that because I'm really nice. And
No. So let's recap real quick. So there's the Friday night networking event, which is really great. Just get to know each other. Then we have the morning event, which is 2 keynotes, a connection piece, a breath work. Then people will go to lunch on their own. And then there's also another piece in the afternoon for women in sport. And then there's the hockey game and the VIP suite that we'll be in. And then we're going to do a photo on the ice afterwards. So this is just like a whole experience. And women that may not have ever done anything like this before, this is like step
Next
outside
level.
your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And then women that have done personal growth and professional growth, this is going to be, if you've had really great experiences, I promise this will be up there as well. Because I'm very confident in that and the things we're doing. So, okay.
100%.
Tickets?
So tickets, they're, so we'll have a link that'll be posted up with this podcast. So early bird pricing now through January 20th is $222. Now, do you have lucky number? Is 222 lucky number?
I just, I like to do consecutive numbers.
And then after that, the pricing will jump up to $299 for the final 4 weeks leading up. Tickets will be available till February 28th.
And we have a max capacity. We're keeping this more of an intimate group setting. So
get your tickets early.
We do have limited spots, and because we want to be able to truly connect with everyone that's in that room. So this isn't about getting thousands of people. This is very intimate and by design. Especially, I mean, and let's just spend 1 second on that, because some people feel intimidated, women especially, about coming into a room and feeling like, like it could bring social anxiety. Like even someone outgoing like me, when I go to some of these conferences, I'm like, oh my gosh, but this is not going to be that. It's going to be warm and really,
it's us. I'll be there.
Yeah, hype girl be here. Well, we got to talk about this too. What do we wear?
Oh yeah,
yes, whatever you want.
Casual, chic, comfy.
Yes. You wear your
whatever makes you happy.
Stilettos or your tennies.
Yeah, or your
I'll
sequins.
Be in my
So whatever makes you happy.
Don't, and you come as you are.
Yeah.
And then the other thing too is we're hosting this at the Radisson. And I was able to negotiate a really great room rate. And the Radisson just went through an amazing remodel.
Yes. Yeah, it's beautiful.
So treat yourself to a great weekend. And we really, I mean, just this is the first of its kind in Kalamazoo. So you don't want to miss it.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
So excited.
I am so excited. I think I'm the most excited. I'm so happy that this is happening. I've been like dreaming about something like this happening with my people.
Yeah.
So with my highly respected women, boss ladies.
This is going to be so exciting. So in the meantime, if people want to connect with either one of you, where can they find you? Anna, where can they find you?
Dr. Anna Marie on Instagram. So it's dr.anna, ANNA.Marie on Instagram. My company, Happy Whole You, is on Instagram as well. And then I'm on LinkedIn and then drannamarie.com.
Yeah. Doctor, ladies, like this one.
Legit.
100%, which is, I love. Caroline, where can people find you?
Goldie Gross, all one word on the Instagram.
Okay.
Facebook, I think it's Goldie Gross.
Yeah.
Caroline Martin is my name.
Yes. And then if you all want to connect with me, not hard to find. I'm kwings.com, TonyWillCoaching.com, mindfulnesselevated.com, Facebook and LinkedIn at Tony Lentini Will, and then on Instagram, I'm Tony Will. And if you're interested in sponsoring this event, Caroline is going a hype girl. This is what she is amazing at, amongst many other things. But if you are interested, please reach out to Caroline or I, because we are looking for sponsors to help bring this to life, like something that we're really passionate about to life. And so please reach out, and we are all very responsive, and this is all meant to be very relatable and just like true Midwest Michigan love. So well, thank you, ladies, for my first in-person podcast interview.
Great job.
Did I do okay?
Yeah, you did great.
Great.
It's like,
that's high five. Yay! All right. Thank you. All right. Until next time.